Hello everybody, today we'll continue with AC three-phase circuits. In the last class I just introduced you to the topic, and then we saw we'll just go through, revise what we learned in the last class before taking on new concepts. Okay, so last class we saw three-phase system means there will be three different voltages which will lag each other or lead each other. There will be phase difference of 120 degree. Like there are three phases which is shown here. In this case you can see the red one, okay, that is leading the green one, that is the phase 2 by 120 degree, right? So I can write it, or I can write the other way around, the phase 2 lags phase 1 by 120 degree. Similarly, this is the third phase which is again lagging the second phase by 120 degree. Okay, and even the phase difference between the phase 1 and phase 3 will be it will be plus 120 or minus 240, whichever way. So there are three different phases in a three-phase system, all separated by a 120 degree phase shift. And then we also saw in the last class that the source can be either be a Y connected source or it could be an delta connected source. Okay, so on the left hand side is shown a Y connected source, and on the right hand side we have a delta connected source. So in the Y connected source you have three lines which are known as the phase 1 line, phase 2 line and phase 3 line, and then you can have you will have a neutral line also. This is which is the junction of the three phases out here from the generator side. So you have 4 lines, whereas in the delta connection you don't have a neutral line, so you will have 3. So these are the 3 lines which goes to the load, and here there are 4 lines which goes to the load. We also saw that since these 3 in a balanced system, the magnitude of the 3 phases will be equal, only they will be lagging or leading each other. There will be a phase difference of 120 degree, right? The magnitude remains the same. So if you are going to take vector sum of all the 3, it is going to come to 0. So each of these voltages with respect to the neutral in a Y connection is known as the phase voltage. Okay, so VAN is one phase, VBN is the second phase, and VCN is the third phase. So you have 3 phases. Now if I call VAN as VP as the phase voltage, and I take that as a reference, the phase 0, then I will have the second phase VBN as VP, because the magnitude remains same, but it will be lagging the first signal by 120 degrees. So I write minus 120 as the phase angle. For the third phase, again the magnitude remains same, so I write VP, and it is going to lag this from the BN by another 120. So the total lag with respect to the A phase will be minus 240, or alternatively I can write it as V phase plus 120, right? So these are the 3 phase. Now here VP stands for RMS voltage. So when you have a 4-line system, this is just a revision from the last class. If you have a 4-line system, then the voltage between each of these 3 phases and the neutral line. So you have 3 phases, which is red, yellow and blue, and the neutral will be 230 volt. Okay, this is what commercially we get in our houses, and whereas the voltage between 2 lines, okay, will be 440. Okay, so we have to be careful. We are not connecting any load, our domestic loads, across these two phases, but we will have to connect the loads only between a phase and a neutral. It could be any phase, doesn't matter, but the RMS voltage will be 230 between any of the phases and the neutral, while the RMS voltage between 2 phases will be 440. And where did we get this 440 from? That last time we derived it. It is root 3 times phase voltage. Okay, root 3 into 230 will give you 440, and that 440 is known as the line voltage. So what is line voltage? Line voltage is the voltage between any 2 phases, okay, in the line. Okay, so that is what we learned. And then we also saw when we are connecting an Y connected system, source to an Y connected load. So you have a YY connected 3-phase system. When you have an Y connected source connected to an Y connected load. So in this case, you will see that there are three currents which will be flowing from the three phases, and also there is a neutral wire. Okay, however, the current in this neutral wire will be 0 as long as these three voltages are equal and these three impedances, that is a balanced load. So these three impedances are equal, there will be no neutral current flowing. Okay, so the only current which will be flowing will be in the three lines. Okay. So you have the current in each of these in the source side in each of these phase. If you see the voltage which is across ZY, it is ZY, ZY, ZY it's shown because all of the three loads are the same. So if you see this, the voltage across this will be the same phase voltage. So if I have to find out the current, it will be phase voltage, okay, divided by the impedance. Okay, so I will get phase voltage divided by impedance VAN divided by VZ. Now if I have to find out the current in this arm, it will be VBN by ZY. Excuse me. And what is VBN? VBN is VAN and it is lagging AN by 120. It is because all the three voltages are equal. So with this you can see that the current in IB is IA 120. That means all the magnitudes of the three currents also will be the same, and they will be lagging. IB will be lagging IA by 120 degree, and IC will be lagging IA by 240 degree. Okay, so these three currents also will be spaced 120 degree apart. Okay, but not necessarily VAN and IA are in phase. Okay, that depends on impedance. If it's a pure resistance, then these two will be in phase, the voltage and the current. But if there is an inductive or a capacitive element, then VAN and IA won't be in phase. Okay, so these three voltages will be 120 degree apart from each other. Similarly, the three currents will be 120 degree apart from each other, but the magnitudes of these three will be same. Magnitudes of these three will be same, and the voltage and the current, they can differ in phase from each other based on the kind of load which you have connected. Okay, now coming to we also learnt about balanced Y delta connection. Okay, wherein you had a balanced Y and then you had a load delta. Okay, now what was the difference which we saw there was, now if you see the voltage across each of these loads is not the phase voltage. Okay, in the previous case the voltage across each of these was AN, BN and CN, right? Now if you see the voltage across this is not the line voltage, but here it is the phase voltage which is coming across this. Okay, so if you see each of them, the voltage across this is the line voltage. Okay, that is VAN minus VBN is the voltage which is applied here. Okay, that is nothing but the line voltage. Okay, similarly the voltage across this is also line voltage, and across this is also line voltage. So you can line voltage, we learned that it is √3 times the phase voltage, and also it lags the phase voltage by 30 degree, right? So you have this. So you have a VAB, VBC, these are all the line voltages, which is the line voltages which is across the three impedances, right? Okay, now so the current going through this will be the line voltage divided by the impedances here. Okay, for a YY we saw it is the phase voltage divided by impedance. In this case it is going to be the line voltage divided by the, instead of phase voltage it is going to be line voltage divided by Z. That means the current will be √3 times higher for the same impedance in this case. Okay, because this is going to be √3 times the phase, hence the current also is going to be √3 times. So this is the going to be. Now in the previous case we saw the line voltage and the phase voltage were the same. Here it is not going to remain the same, but if you see this line voltage which is coming here, it is actually getting distributed into 2 out here, right? Similarly this is the line voltage, whereas the phase voltage, phase current, okay, this is the line current which is coming here. The phase current is between these two elements, right? Similarly, the phase current is the line voltage is coming here. The phase currents are is distributed into these two elements. Okay, so phase current is the current going into each of these elements, whereas the line current is line which is coming from the source here. So the phase current, if you see, so this line current is different from the phase current out here. Now we also saw that this line current is actually algebraic sum of these two. So if you do that, you will come to know that the line current is √3 times IP, right? So in this particular configuration, where you have an Y connected to a delta load Y source, the phase voltage, the line voltage is √3 times the phase voltage, and also the line current is √3 times I phase. Okay, so that was the difference. Now today we will take on one more configuration which is known as the balanced delta connection. So you have a delta connection out here, and delta connected source, and you have a delta connected load also. So we need to find out what will be the phase currents and line voltages. Okay, now and the line currents. Here the line voltage is same as a phase voltage, because it is a delta connection that we saw in the last class, that for a delta connection the line voltage will be same as that of because if you see here, this is the phase voltage which will be same as the line voltage. So for a delta source, the line voltage and the phase voltage will be the same, whereas for a Y connected source, the phase voltage will be √3 times the line voltage will be √3 times the phase voltage. Okay, whereas for a delta connection, the phase voltage and the line voltage are one and the same. Okay, what about the current out here? If you see the current out here, again it is getting distributed here. So like we saw in the last case, the line voltage is going to be √3 times the phase voltage here. Okay, so it is the same kind of derivation which we did for the last one. So for a delta connection, the line voltage is equal to the phase voltage. If you see here, the line voltage is equal to the same voltage, and the line current is √3 times the phase current. Okay, so that is the difference in a delta connection, right? Okay, so we can take on one more. This is an example, just an example we will see. This is the impedance which is given here, connected to a delta connected source, which is this is given as the line voltage. Okay, so if it is a line voltage, the phase voltage is also going to remain the same since it's a delta source. Now calculate the phase currents. Okay, now it says even the load is in delta connected, so we need to find the current. So first of all, we need to find out what is the phase current. Okay, now the phase currents will be the line voltage, okay, divided by the impedance. Okay, so line voltage is VAB, which is given here as 330, divided by the impedance. Okay, now the other two currents will be 180 degree out of phase with these two. So you get the three phase currents. So once you get the phase currents, then to get the line current, you need to multiply it by √3. And then introduce another phase difference of -30. So this is what you will get the line current out here. So these are the three line currents in this case. Okay, so now this is one of the last combination which is possible, where you have an delta source and a Y load. Okay, so here, like, since it is delta, it is going to be, the line voltage is going to be same as the phase voltage. Okay, so if I take to the left of these circuits, if it is an star source or a Y source, the line voltage is going to be √3 times phase voltage. Okay, and if it is an delta connection, then the line voltage is going to be same as the phase voltage. Okay, now coming on to the load side, if it is a star connected here, the line current and the phase current are going to remain the same, whereas if it is a delta connection, then the line current is going to be √3 times the phase current. So and then you can have these combinations of an delta and star also. It's the same manner, right? So this is a small derivation of trying to prove what we said discussed just now. So you can go through these. Okay, if you take an example here again, I have a phase. This is the load which is connected here on a 40 plus J25, and then you have a delta source. A line voltage is, this is the Y load, and whereas the line voltage which is same as the phase voltage, because it is delta, it is 210. So if I have to, this is the load which is given here. Now if I have to find the phase current, so first, since I have to I can do one thing, I have to find out the line voltage, phase voltage, and divided it. So to find out the phase voltage, I am I am dividing it by √3, right? So I am getting the line voltage. So now I can do the line voltage divided by the impedance. I will get the line currents here out. Okay, so this is which is same as the phase currents. Okay, so that is how delta Y connection. If you see here, the voltage across each of them, okay, is going to be phase, not the line. Line voltage will be applied across two impedances. So if I have to find current in this case into only one of them, then it will be the line impedance out here. Sorry, the phase impedance. Right. So to find out the current here, so this derivation is given here. When you have a delta here, and you have a Y here, to find out the current, we can't divide the this line voltage divided by the impedance, because if you see, the line voltage is applied across a combination of this. So if you see the derivation, you will find to get the current through each of these phases, so you need to first convert the line voltage into phase voltage and then divide by the impedance. Okay, so that has been done out here, right? So this is done. So also if you have to find out the power in a three-phase system, so what we can do is, if E is known as the line voltage, okay, and I is the line current. Okay, so if these are given, okay, now for a star connection, okay, then it means for a star source, if then you have the phase. Okay, if you have to find out the current in each of the phases, okay, first we need to convert the line voltage into phase, so E divided by √3 into I, and then you have to multiply it by 3, because there are it's a star connection, there are 3 arms, so we have to find out the power in each of these arms. So you multiply it by 3, so you get √3 E into I. So whereas E is defined as the power of the it is the voltage of the line voltage, and I is the line current. Okay, then the power of a star connection is √3 times line voltage into line current. Similarly, for a delta connection, okay, the line voltage is same as the phase voltage, so you have E into the current in each of if you have to find out the current in each arm, then I have to find out the phase current. Okay, so the phase current is given by line current divided by √3, so I have I into √3, and then you have 3 of these arms, right? So you got to multiply it by 3. So if you multiply it by 3, again you will get √3 into E into I. Okay, so this is the total power in an delta connection. Okay, so √3 EI. So for a star connection as well as a delta connection, okay, the power remains the same, which is √3 E into I. Okay, for both of them, in both the cases. Okay, and in both the cases, E represents the line voltage, I represents the line current. So so we'll see some problems in the tutorial where these things will be further amplified. Okay, so if I have to summarize, in the star connection system, there is a common point which is known as the neutral, and there are 3 lines, whereas in the delta connection you just have 3 phase wires which will be connected between the source and the load. Okay, in the star connected we have 3 phase 3 wire system, and also and one neutral wire is required. So total wire requirement is 4, whereas in a delta connection only 3 phases and 3 wire system is possible. Okay. For a star, the line voltage is given as √3 times phase voltage, or phase voltage is 1 by √3 times line voltage, whereas in a delta the line voltage and the phase voltage is the same, right? For the line current, it's the reverse here. For the line current in a star connected, the line voltage and the phase voltages are going to be the same, and for line current in a delta connected load, it is going to be √3 times I phase, right? So the phase current is 1 by √3 IL. Okay. And the power in both the cases, okay, it is √3 times V line, that is line voltage, into the phase current. Here, because the phase current and line current are the same, I can write phase current into cos phi. Here also, whereas here you can write √3 times V line voltage and line current into cos phi. If you remember that this way, the formula is same, √3 line voltage into line current into cos phi. If you remember that, it will be okay. So if you remember this particular table, you should be able to understand the concept and tackle all numerical questions. So this table is important for all of you. Okay. Now before we wind up, we will just see why we are learning about 3-phase systems. So we learned that the AC advantages of AC over DC when I introduced an AC to you. Then I said it is going to be more AC is more efficient than an DC, because a DC actually you make AC and then you convert into DC. Now 3-phase AC is like it is got even more it is more advantageous than the single phase AC. Okay, so a 3-phase AC produces 3 separate waves of power delivered in sequence, thus ensures a continuous uninterrupted flow of power. Okay, it never falls to 0, whereas here if you see the output power falls to 0 in between. Whereas for a 3-phase, because you are any one of the coils will always be producing some energy, whereas for a single phase the coil will produce 0 energy when it is totally aligned with the direction of the field. Okay, so that is the advantage of a 3-phase. Similarly, we had discussed that the AC supply is supplied at higher voltages, so transmission losses are small compared to DC transmission. So you can use transformers to up convert and down convert AC signals. Now coming to 3-phase AC over single phase AC, again the 3-phase transformers are much more efficient than the single phase transformer. So, and also the total line currents. So we saw that the neutral line there will be 0 current. So if you see, if you have to transmit a certain power from place A to place B, so it will be more efficient for the 3-phase AC system will be more efficient in transferring the same amount of power than compared to a single phase system. Okay. And then we also discussed that advantages of AC over DC, that it is very easy to convert AC to DC by using a rectifier circuits, right? So whereas to convert a DC to AC, it is difficult. Now coming over to 3-phase AC, it is even more easy to convert it into DC. So if you see, this is a single wave rectifier, this is a single phase AC, you rectify it, you will get this kind of waveform. So there is lot of ripples, so you have to put some capacitors and try to filter it out. Whereas this is an 3-phase system, if you try to rectify this, so you will get, you can just clip, or you can take the peak from all these waveforms. So if you see here, it gives a much better DC. Okay, so a larger value of DC and with lesser ripples. So by using an 3-phase circuit for rectification, so this is better. So if you see 3-phase AC has obviously it is much more efficient than DC. Also it is much more efficient than a single phase circuit. Okay, so with that I will stop it here for today. Thanks a lot.